That's right, you read that correctly. Chewbacca is Russian. The word Chewbacca comes from the Russian word for dog,
Собака.
and if you didn't know that one, buckle up and get ready to head down a journey of learning about everyone's favorite Wookiee. From danger on set to the strange ways they kept the suit clean, we're gonna fly through these next 32 facts faster than the Millennium Falcon on the Kessel Run.
Hey, girls. Anyone want to make the Kessel Run?
That'd be cool, but we only got 12 parsecs.
Chewie was a dog, that's right. The whole idea of Chewbacca came from George Lucas's own dog, Indiana. As he would sit in the front seat, in the passenger seat next to him, he imagined a hairy co-pilot that eventually became the Wookiee we love. Han almost kills Chewbacca. Chewie, who is a 200-year-old Wookiee, becomes Han Solo's companion after Han, an Imperial officer at the time, refused an order to kill him, for which Han was dismissed from the Imperial Navy and became a smuggler. To repay this debt, Chewbacca protected Han for the rest of his life and served as his co-pilot on the Millennium Falcon. The Italians changed Chewbacca's name. In Italy, the name Chewbacca was changed to Chewbacca, and his nickname is Chewie. I don't know about you, but I cannot get used to Chewie. Chewbacca's tall, really tall. Now this is one you probably already knew, but Peter Mayhew, the person who played in the suit, was 7'3", making Chewbacca feel almost 8 foot tall when in the suit. There are 5 identical Chewbacca costumes that were made. In the original trilogy and holiday special, we don't want to talk about the holiday special. All the suits were made of yak hair and mohair. They had this many suits so that they could try and keep them all clean. Just wait till you hear how they actually do that. But they would rotate between, and there even is one suit that was just from the waist up for those nice, beautiful close-up shots. Chewbacca has blue eyes. If you look closely when watching the films, you can see Peter Mayhew's baby blues poking through behind that mask. Chewbacca's voice isn't human. Even though he's human inside, the voice of Chewbacca is a mix of many different animals. It was created by the original film sound designer Ben Burt from recordings of walruses, lions, camels, bears, rabbits, tigers, and badgers. The individual recordings were mixed at different ratios for Chewbacca's different utterances. One of the most prominent elements in the voice was a black bear named Tariq from Happy Hollow Zoo in San Jose, California.
I collected lots of bear sounds as well as walruses and lions and...
His new suit was actually a disaster. During production of The Force Awakens, creature effects supervisor Neil Scanlon commented that the original suit was far more sophisticated than what they had originally realized, leading him to entirely scrap their first attempt at making the new suit and go back to study Freeborn's work in order to better appreciate how it worked and attempt to emulate it. The original design and cooling system was still better than the new, so they went back to the old. Chewie has a comic book. In 2015, Marvel Comics published a 5-issue miniseries titled Chewbacca, written by Jerry Duggan and art by Phil Noto. This comic is part of the canon developed subsequent to Disney's acquisition of Lucasfilm in 2012 and the end of Dark Horse Comics publications of the Star Wars comics. Always in character. The director of Empire Strikes Back, Irvin Kershner, had a very particular way of working with the actors on the Empire Strikes Back set. He'd give directions to the actors in droid costumes or under masks while they were only in costume because he wanted to connect. He said, "I try to talk to Chewbacca only when the actor was fully costumed. Then I was staring at the Wookiee and not just an actor inside a Chewbacca suit. That helped tremendously." The Chewbacca suit actually put Peter Mayhew's life in danger. During filming of Return of the Jedi, Mayhew was told not to wander around while in costume. They were on location in California redwoods, and there was some concern he would be mistaken as Bigfoot by hunters and could be injured or even killed. Darth Vader was almost actually Chewbacca. David Prowse had the opportunity to play Chewbacca or Darth Vader. He wanted to be the villain, so he said no to the Chewbacca role, even though it's what he was offered first. Did you know that Chewbacca started as a girl? Chewbacca's character design was based on concept art drawn by Ralph McQuarrie. Lucas had originally given McQuarrie a photo of a lemur for inspiration, and McQuarrie proceeded to draw the character as a female. But Chewbacca was soon changed to a male early in pre-production around 1975. Sketches of Chewie were more slender and feline in appearance. Also in 1975, the sci-fi magazine Analog published a short story by up-and-coming writer George R.R. Martin called "And 7 Times Never Kill a Man." Artist John Schoenherr drew an accompanying illustration featured a fuzzy bipedal creature, and not long after that, Ralph McQuarrie came up with the version of Chewbacca that's closest to what we know today. Chewbacca almost wore pants.
Memo's worried about whether or not the Wookiee should have pants. They're looking at this thing and saying, couldn't he have some lederhosen? And I thought, isn't this great? Of all the things to worry about, the Wookiee has no pants.
Originally, Chewie would wear more. In the summary for Lucas's second draft, dated January 28, 1975, when the film was called Adventures of the Star Killer Episode 1, The Star Wars, oof, that's a mouthful, Chewbacca is described as an 8-foot-tall, savage-looking creature resembling a huge gray bush baby monkey with fierce baboon-like fangs. His large yellow eyes dominate a fur-covered face, and over his matted furry body he wears 2 chrome bandoliers, a flak jacket painted in a bizarre camouflage pattern, brown cloth shorts, and little else. Chewbacca actually died in '99. He died in the EU, the expanded universe. Another crucial plot point which rests in the former extended universe of the Star Wars franchise is the fact that Chewbacca was killed off, meeting his end in the 1999 book The New Jedi Order Vector Prime. The main characters, Chewie included, are trying to flee a collapsing planet after saving multiple people, but they are unable to reach the ship before it is too late. This caused fans to be outraged that this beloved character was killed off-screen, prompting some fans to write death threats. And people like to say the Star Wars fanbase is more crazy now. The funny thing is the fans didn't have all the facts, kind of like today. R.A. Salvatore was absolutely against it. Instead, it was a decision of the EU editors that a major character ought to be killed off to give the books more credibility. George Lucas received a hit list of names from the editors and was asked which one they could kill. In keeping with his rather macabre style of deciding life and death, Lucas sent back a list of names which he would not allow to be killed. Since Chewbacca's name wasn't on the list, the editors decided that it should be him. There's a weapon that Chewie was forbidden to use. Many don't know, but Chewie has retractable claws. We know this because Wookiees were forbidden from using these claws in any kind of combat. If this is disobeyed, the Wookiee is exiled and dubbed Mad Claws. Though that does sound like a pretty sweet nickname. I think it has the right rhyme. Chewie Mad Claws, right? Am I right? No? Oh, okay. Moving on. Chewbacca was captured by a Wampa on Hoth. Prior to the events of Empire Strikes Back, Chewie was assigned to dig tunnels in Echo Base and accidentally stumbled upon a Wampa trapped in a cave beneath the Rebel base. The Wampa managed to capture Chewie and held him hostage. With the help of Princess Leia, he was freed and they fled from the Wampa, leaving it trapped in the cave again. Wookiees were totally an accident. The name Wookiee came from George's previous movie THX, but George Lucas can't actually take credit for the word Wookiee.
Ran over something back there. I think I ran over a Wookiee.
Lucas Lucas brought in a DJ named Terry McGovern to record some additional dialogue for his movie in a car chase scene. McGovern improvised the line, "I think I just ran over a Wookiee on the expressway." Afterward, he explained to Lucas that he had been poking fun at a guy he knew called Wookiee. Lucas decided to keep the line, and he ended up repurposing the name for Star Wars. Chewbacca is actually a monkey. Well, not literally, but Mayhew studied monkey families to see how they interacted with each other to help with his portrayal of Chewbacca. And so many of the mannerisms and the things that Chewie does is based off of monkeys. The painful origins of the famous Chewbacca head tilt. You might think that because Chewie was inspired by a dog that the head tilt came from that. But you would be wrong. Instead, Chewbacca's head tilt came from Mayhew, who constantly needed to duck to fit through doorways. The dad of the crew. Out of the whole original cast, Chewbacca is the most responsible of them all. He's the middle-aged Wookiee with a wife and kids who he left out of loyalty to the man who saved his life. Some might call him a deadbeat dad, but I'd call him loyal to a fault. Just a backup. Originally, Chewie was not going to be a main character in Star Wars. He was only in 3 to 4 pages of the original screenplay, says Peter Mayhew. But he brought so much interest that his role was expanded just in the first few weeks of filming. Chewbacca is a hospital orderly. Chewbacca wasn't even an actor, or Peter Mayhew, that is. After failing to find an actor to play the tall Wookiee, Lucas went with a hospital orderly who kept his day job even during and after the filming of A New Hope. Chewie needed a day off. Peter Mayhew was so iconic as Chewie that during the filming of the original trilogy, Mayhew had to take the day off when he was sick, and the 7-foot person they found to fill in was so obviously not Chewie, they had to scrap all of that footage. Not everyone loves Chewie. Roger Ebert hated Chewbacca. He said this character was thrown into the first film as window dressing and never thought through, and as a result has been saddled with one facial expression and one mournful yelp. He even went on to say that Chewbacca was the worst character of the film. The genius design of the mask.
Here we go. So. That's not me making that noise, it's the mask! Here, listen.
The original mask works just like you have seen in the now viral Mom in Mask video. Chewbacca's mouth moves mechanically along with the actor Peter Mayhew as he speaks. Because the budget was not massive, they had to come up with simple and cost-effective ways to make things work. Vodka kept Chewie clean. To keep the suits clean between filming stints, a mixture of vodka and tea tree oil was used to sanitize without incurring lots of drying time. Chewbacca came from a climate-controlled planet. Chewie's home planet of Kashyyyk has no seasons. Due to its orbit, Kashyyyk does not experience any seasons. The planet has a perfectly circular orbit without any tilt, and therefore the weather stays consistent all year round. Chewbacca is bilingual. Now, most know that Chewie speaks one of the 3 Wookiee languages, but that's not what we mean. Chewie actually speaks English.
We good. Make my report. Tell him we're leaving it. All right. I'll tell him.
Because during the filming, Peter would speak his lines in English so that everyone could understand, and later in editing, the Wookiee sounds would be added. Chewie had 16 seconds of fame. When Chewie was snubbed at a medal at the end of A New Hope, it took 20 years until he got his new medal.
It is my great honor to present tonight's Lifetime Achievement Award.
When at the 1997 MTV Movie Awards, he was given the Lifetime Achievement Award and then proceeded with his 16-second speech, all in Chewieverse. the genius behind the bowcaster. This weapon paid homage to the traditional Wookiee weapon, but it was customized by Chewbacca to shoot projectiles that would speed up by the magnetic field created by the balls on either end of the bowcaster. This also shows Chewie's insane intellect and engineering capabilities. What did I miss? What else is there to know about Chewbacca? Thanks for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you always.